So, why crime fiction? What drew you to that aspect of writing something like that?
This festival.
Ah.
Okay, so I started off writing contemporary fantasy, humorous contemporary fantasy.
Yeah.
I've been writing that. I've won contests, I've won awards, doing the contemporary fantasy, and I'm still writing contemporary fantasy.
Yeah.
But through this festival, networking with crime writers, I love what they're doing. I noticed that I really do a lot of crime elements in my contemporary fantasy. And in 2015, I was invited to write a crime short story for a crime anthology, AB Negative,
Nice.
which is a crime in Alberta written by Albertans. So they invited me to submit to that. So I go, oh man, I'm going to write a non-speculative piece. Okay, cool. So I wrote that, sent it in, and they made it the first story in the anthology. Got a really good write-up in the Calgary Herald. Most of the other stories were speculative. Because apparently a lot of crime writers are including paranoia.
Yeah,
And
sure.
a bunch of, so it's actually speculative. But I like the limitation
Yeah.
of not being able to go there. I really enjoyed that. And then I got a lot of fan email saying, gee, we love this character, we need to see him again.
Was that Peter?
No.
No. Okay.
No. Peter liked it, but no. Other.
No, I'm talking is the character Peter
Oh,
Galloway.
Peter Galloway, sorry.
Yes.
I thought you meant one of our book
No.
characters. Yeah, Peter Galloway. They go, yeah, we love Peter Galloway. Like to see him in a novel. And I'm going, I can do a novel. Actually, I can do 5. Because
Nice.
the character I created for that short story, if I'm actually going to get into his real life, one book's not big enough.
Yeah.
And so in the last 2 years, I've written 5 Peter Galloway novels.
Yeah.
They're,
Nice.
they're all standalone, but they have a 5-book character arc. So there's questions in the first book that get answered in the 5th book.
I find often with crime writers that they're writing characters that they have an esteem for, that they put on a pedestal in some respects in a little way, because they've got some, they've got character flaws just like anybody
Yes.
else, and they're well-rounded characters, but they have this kind of mystique to them, this gravitas,
Yes.
if you will. So what is it about Peter Galloway that you keep coming to that you really love about that?
Yeah, actually, when you're looking at detective fiction, the main trope is a detective you want to see again and again. That's kind of the main trope
Right.
of detective. There's lots of different other kinds of crime fiction, but detective fiction, Miss Marple, what's Miss Marple going to do now, right?
Yeah.
And so you need a character like that.
Nice.
So when I first wrote the short story, I thought I wanted to do a character similar to the Mountie in Due South,
Nice.
where the guy's kind of too nice,
Yeah.
and not like Columbo, not that way, but more like in Due South, the TV show. You've seen the TV show?
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's kind of like instead of being a rough and tough detective, I'm not going to be the rough and tough guy.
Yeah.
In fact, so for Peter Galloway, other cops, when he was a cop, before he was a detective, other cops didn't like him because he was too nice. And so here's this guy who's too nice. And often that, like Columbo, often that's deceptive with the people he's dealing with.
Yeah.
Is he manages to get results from people by fooling them.
Yeah.
A little
Takes
bit.
him off guard a little
Yeah.
bit, right?
But what really makes him is his background.
Yeah.
So the novels reveal more and more of his background, what made him the man he is today,
Nice.
problems he's still facing, his inability to overcome them. So I've made him a nice 3-dimensional character, which you don't really see much of in the short story because it's a short story.
Yeah.
But it references some of those things, but doesn't actually go into them in the short story.
I attended an interesting panel yesterday about is murder, is crime always have to have murder?
Yeah.
Does your book so feel like you have to center around a murder?
Well, here's the thing. Peter Galloway quit. He was the top homicide detective in Canada, pretty much. And then he quit because he doesn't want to do homicide. Okay. In fact, on the back of my marketing card here is just one quote: "I don't do homicide." Okay?
That's awesome.
But the covers are all murder, right? So he became a private detective to get away
Yeah.
from murder, right? So he wants to do the boring stuff, but murders keep falling into his lap.
Interesting.
And so that's kind of what's fun about him, is he's doing his best to not have to deal with murders, but keeps getting pulled into them.
Nice. What do you, in your fantasies, what do you love about the world building process? What is your favorite aspect of that?
Well, most of my fantasy has been contemporary,
Okay.
and what I really like is the subtle world beneath the real world aspect,
nice.
where
The underground.
yeah, everybody else doesn't see it.
Yeah.
Just a few characters in your story
Nice.
actually see it, and that's a really nice smoke and mirrors game.
Yeah.
When you're actually conceiving the story idea and running it out, you go, how do I make this so that the whole world doesn't go, well, obviously this is happening underground, right? The rest of the world has to be in total denial, and that makes it really fun.
Nice.
Writing that type of story.
So, for you, where does a character take shape in your writing process?
My fiction is character driven; it's not plot driven.
So you're always thinking.
When I come up with a story, I come up with the character first.
Nice.
I don't know everything about the character. I usually come up with a character and one thing that I think I need them to do,
Yeah.
and then I will think for like 3 months before I even start writing. I'll be thinking about this.
Do you do interviews with your characters and things like that? No. Just building them naturally.
I'm a very fast writer.
Mm.
I actually don't spend a lot of time. I don't use character charts. I don't.
Just go.
Yeah. As a writer, I put myself in their shoes. Whatever character is appearing in that scene, I make sure I'm in each of their shoes. I'm a strong believer in characters have to be realistically motivated.
Yeah.
They're not going to do something for the author's convenience for the plot.
Yeah.
That readers don't go, well, no, they wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
I want to make sure that when people are reading,
And the readers will call you out on that.
They will, but I want the reader to go, oh yeah, this is exactly what they would do. The fun part is it's not making it too obvious.
Yeah.
Right? That like I will read a book or see a TV show, and I go to my girlfriend Bella, I go, so this and this and this is going to happen, and this is how it's going to end, right? Because I've thought enough about written stories. That I can start to see all that predictability, and when I'm surprised, I'm really thrilled.
Yeah.
But I'm usually not.
Yeah.
I mean, Hollywood's got a formula. All the TV stuff is really easy. Books are tougher. Sometimes I'll go somewhere I don't expect it. I really love it. But I try not to be too obvious, but not to deviate too much in my fiction.
Sure.
So that I don't want a detective to miss a clue that the reader sees.
Yeah.
And then 10 chapters later, someone goes, oh, you missed that clue. I mean, I hate that.
Yeah. I saw that you've been dabbling in some acting lately.
I have acted quite a bit. I've been in some
You like that?
some musical theater.
Yeah.
We used to actually write our own shows
Oh, nice.
and do some shows. So I was asked to be in the book trailer for Susan Forrest. Susan's also one of the actors that we used to do stuff. And so she says, "Oh, Randy is typecast for the part, and he can do it." So we'll ask him to do it.
Nice.
So, and I enjoy that. When you are putting on a show, it takes a lot of time.
Yeah.
And so, but it's very cathartic.
Mm.
As for your own health and well-being, I recommend people do it.
Yeah.
Go out and do some community theater because you will benefit in so many ways from it.
Nice.
But we used to do shows at conventions.
Yeah.
Volcon, Alberta has Volcon every year, which is a Star Trek convention, and we had done a Star Trek meets Phantom of the Opera. So
Nice.
it was so we did this. And we did it at a convention in Calgary, and one of the organizers of Vulcan came up and watched it and said, "Oh, we'd love you guys to come down and do that for our dinner show for Vulcan." And our guest this year is Rod Roddenberry.
Oh.
And we're going, Rod Roddenberry? Well, he's either going to love it or he's going to sue us.
Yeah.
So we go down there and we do the show. There's Rod Roddenberry in the audience.
Yeah.
We hit halftime. And Rod asked to go up to the mic.
Oh, no.
He goes up to the mic, he goes, is everybody enjoying this? I certainly am. Around on the house for everybody.
Oh.
He bought everybody a drink.
Nice.
The audience, not just us.
Yeah, nice.
Everybody. So he really enjoyed it. He wanted us to go down to Las Vegas.
Oh, wow.
We all get day jobs.
Yeah, yeah.
So that wasn't going to work. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, but like you said, it is time consuming. So with this conference, with your writing and doing all that, has there been times when you've tried to figure out the time management aspect of your life, or have you been able to always navigate that?
Well, 5 years ago, I retired from my day job.
Oh, nice.
Early retirement.
Nice.
I needed to work longer,
Yeah.
but the job was changing, and too old to try and find another one. People are not hiring older people today because they have to pay them more, so they hire younger people. And I understand all of that.
Yeah.
So I'm going, great, I got more time to write.
Mm-hmm.
Up until then, I was writing short stories and novellas. Now I can
Yeah.
write novels. Of course, all that free time, I started reading more. Not so much writing more. But that's when I started writing novels.
Yeah.
And so I'm a hybrid author. So I write for some publishers, and then I do some of my own writing.
Nice.
So between that, I've got some good time flexibility.
Nice.
I originally wanted to launch Peter Galloway last August. But I wanted to do quick release 5 books over a 8-month period. And I'm going, no, I won't have them finished.
Yeah.
So I will actually stall out during my quick release, so I'm not going to do that. So I waited a year.
Nice.
So I'm doing it now.
As somebody who's been around the industry though for a long time, are you encouraged by how it's evolving, how it's changing, and how people are able to do their own thing a little bit more?
Yes and no.
Yeah.
The whole industry is kind of like Amazon. Amazon is the best and worst thing that has ever happened to authors. And the industry is changing.
The
that
love
way, too.
hate.
Yeah. I mean, it has never been easier to write and publish a book
Yeah.
than it is today. It has never been harder for a reader to discover your book
Yeah.
today. So, but that's the way it works. I mean, you can't have it lean in one direction because the world doesn't work that way.
Right.
So 20 years ago, if someone wanted to write a book, they were going to go to a vanity press, they were going to fill their basement full of print books, and they were going to sell them out of their trunk.
Yeah.
Well, those days are gone.
Yeah.
So that's great. But every author, I think, is selling fewer books now because there's more books out there. People can't find
Yeah.
books that
Even the
suit them.
traditional ones.
Oh yeah, I'm talking to everybody.
Yeah.
I know authors who are doing extremely well in traditional publishing and extremely well in indie publishing. And from what I've seen, you can't really say today one is better than the other.
Right.
It really depends on who you are, your personality, what you want to do, what your project is. You then have to decide. So that's why I'm a hybrid.
Yeah.
I will write a book and I'll go, this will be a hard sell to a publisher. It's not a good fit for classification for what they promote. I'm going to self-publish it. For these crime books, it's soft-boiled detective, which I think is more of an ebook market.
Yeah. Sure.
And I'm going, traditional publishing really doesn't have much added value for the ebook market. So I will self-publish those.
Nice.
But I've got 2 other contemporary fantasy books. Well, actually, they're not really contemporary. They're sort of contemporary. Coming out from a publisher. They're a Connecticut gumshoe in King Arthur's Court, and then a Connecticut gumshoe in Sherwood Forest.
Nice.
Those are very commercially marketable books.
Sure.
A publisher will help me distribute those. So I'm going through a publisher with those. They are kind of contemporary fantasy because the gumshoe is contemporary.
Right.
And he applies that worldview to the time period he's in. So
Interesting.
Yeah.
That sounds fascinating. What does every Randy McCharles book have to have?
Fast pace.
Huh.
I really enjoy a fast pace,
Nice.
and I want things to happen. There will be places to catch your breath. In those places, I want some cleverness. I want some clever exposition, some clever dialogue, because you're not seeing action.
Nice.
But mostly I like action,
Nice.
which is actually, I'm finding harder to do in the soft-boiled detective than I did in speculative fantasy.
Why do you feel like that's happening?
Because you're doing interviews.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're doing interviews, just like this, eh?
Yeah.
And so you've got your detective talking to people, and you go, how do I not make this talking heads? How do I have the story actually progress quickly when the whole point of the interviews is they're not actually solving the problem.
Right.
Because you've got to go interview multiple people to actually collect enough information to go solve it.
Sure.
So it's challenging, but I enjoy the challenge.
Nice.